Hey everyone, this is Nitro from the Rocky Valley server in the Guild Snow. So in this video, I'm just going to talk about the two new upcoming characters, Jugler and Zerida. And in all honesty, I will just give my opinion. Both heroes are not required at all, and they seem to be much more PvP focused than they are for PvE content. So I'll begin with, I guess, Jugler, and then go into Zerida after that. So, let's just quickly go over it. Now, let me preface this video by saying it is really not as well researched as other videos I may do, simply because, to be frank, I have no interest in getting either character. It would be nice if I could get them, but I do not plan to draw on this upcoming banner. So, with that said, let's begin. So, Jugler. Apparently, he has a whole bunch of different forms, okay? So, in battle, he does not appear like this fluffy flying thing. Instead, he takes on the form of the monster that you have the class for. So he might be a behemoth, a hydra, bahamut, and these other ones. So that's the interesting thing about Jugler. That is that he looks different from his avatar, his artwork. Other than that, to my knowledge, it's just his different forms play very differently. So he's a support character that plays out very differently depending on the final form you leave him in. What that means is you really have to do commit into upgrading all his classes so you can get access to the different forms. And yeah, he's a very expensive character to use. Last but not least, one thing that really drives me off from using him is that his faction is Origins of Light. Almost nobody plays the Origins faction, because the common consensus is the faction is overall quite terrible. It's apparently very good for PvP, endgame PvP that is, because a lot of the Origins characters are very deadly in that sense. But if you're talking about PvE content and so on, Origins is not really a faction that is recommended. So given that the case, I see even fewer reason to actually use or get Jugler. Unless, you're a fan of the original games that he was in and just want the character because of that. So, with basically Jugler covered in brief, let's quickly talk about Zerida. And to my knowledge, from what I've been told, Zerida is completely a PvP focused character who is really meant for, I guess, whales, because they can quickly get her to 6-star and then she'll be incredibly deadly in that state. Yeah, that's pretty much it, because Zerida is basically an assassin type character with a meteor faction buff. Okay, I suppose the meteor faction buff could be very useful for Guild Wars, because there is that meteor map. But other than that, as an assassin, pretty much all assassins are meant for PvP, and they're not really meant for PvE content. You could use her for PvE, but it's one of those things where there's no reason to use an assassin for PvE. So yeah, that pretty much covers these two new characters in brief. Again, I'm not going into them into detail or researching them in detail because after looking at their weapon type and their faction types, I just have no real interest in getting either character. So I hope you found this video useful. As I said, it is definitely not as well researched as other videos I've done, but I just wanted to give my quick opinion on these two new characters because, if you're planning to draw for them, this is very useful information. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Nitro out.